What if the key to radiant, healthy skin lies in both our mind and our body's inner balance? Psychodermatology, which explores the deep connection between our mental well being and skin health. Welcome to another session of Wellness Tank. Hi, I'm Kritika Padmanabhan, a corporate psychologist, and today we have Dr. Smita and Dr. Aishwarya. We'll explore how our skin isn't just affected by what we put on it, but how we feel and the balance of our body's inner energies. Psychodermatology shows us that stress, emotions, and mental health can profoundly impact our skin. By nurturing both the mind and the body, we can unlock the secret to glowing, healthy skin.
So, Kritika, let's talk about psychodermatology. We all know, stress is the one of the important causative factor in the skin diseases. So, how skin and mind are connected, and why is this relationship is important for overall health?
Sure. Thank you for asking me the question, Dr. Smita. I want to give you a very beautiful analogy for this. So, there are two best friends. One is the brain and one is the skin. And they have actually come from where the baby is developing. That is, when I'm talking about the embryonic tissue, here we are talking about the ectoderm. So they are best friends, I'm saying, because they are coming from the same place, and the neurotransmitters and the neuroendocrines are almost the same. So do you see that they are so closely connected that throughout life they have stuck together? They influence each other. That's what I mean to say. In fact, you would agree with me as doctors, we have dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, correct? Those three are there in the skin as well. I'll give you a very beautiful example which everyone will relate to. What happens when you get goosebumps on your skin? When you hear some news that is extremely alarming, shocking, or something very scary also, right? So at that time, there are automatically these goosebumps which appear on your skin. That happens because of the neurotransmitters. Now, the brain and the skin actually are so interconnected. That is why they say that when there is excessive stress, that's how your skin is automatically going to get affected. Now, let's talk about the other bidirectional relationship. So, as I said here, the brain is affecting the skin. But did you ever wonder that the skin can also affect the brain? Let's imagine that someone is suffering from a skin disorder. Can you imagine the level of confidence that person might have? It's so difficult to even step out in public. For example, there are friends who are going out for lunch. The person will feel insecure to even go out with them because of their skin issue. So here, I'm talking about the skin issue actually having an effect on your mind. So it's a bidirectional relationship.
I would like to ask you that we often hear that stress and skin problems are related. So, what is the relation and how does it impact?
So, there are many theories in psychology which we have studied, and for every one of us to know, whenever there is any stressor in life, let's talk about the most common in students' lives, examinations. Now, when an examination has come, I think there is so much of pressure. The first thing that comes to your mind is the alarm reaction. So Hans Selye in 1939 came up with GAS. So this theory talks about the General Adaptation Syndrome. In the GAS, what he talks about is the 3 stages in response to stress. The first one is the alarm stage. Like I said, if there is any stressor, now we are talking about examinations. Oh my God, I have not studied enough. That's the first stage, the alarm. So your body naturally goes into a stage of shock. You would relate with that. The second one is the stage of resistance. Here the body is trying to cope with the stress. Now this is one of the most important stages because over here either you perish or you cherish. So after that comes a stage when your resilience has reduced, your stress has taken over in such a bad shape that you're not able to cope up. That's why the last stage of exhaustion. So the alarm stage, the resistance stage, and the exhaustion. what this theory is talking about with regards to skin. When there are excessive levels of hormones in your body, I will be talking about that. It's the cortisol hormone. This leads to a lot of, stress related reactions, which leads to exhaustion. And then comes your skin issues. There is also the psychoneuroimmunology theory. Here, if we break this word, psycho, neuro, and immunology. Here we are talking about the physiological effects on not only your nervous system, but also your immune system. In that comes your psoriasis. So we will be discussing that as well, how stress affects skin health. And then the oxidative stress. See, when there is excessive stress in your body, obviously the free radicals also increase. As doctors, you would relate to that. Once the free radicals increase, then it leads to a host of other skin diseases and skin aging as well. And that's where we need to somewhere find ways to control the stress. So these are a few theories which talk about how your mind, or rather the effect of stress, has on skin.
So, what are the primary stress hormones and how do they affect the appearance or our skin health?
So everybody feels that, okay, I have stress and it's not going to affect me. But physiologically, it has a profound effect, starting with what I discussed some time back, which is cortisol. Now, we need to know how this hormone, this is called the stress hormone, but how does this stress hormone actually affect your body, or rather your skin? You would agree with me that skin is the largest organ in the human body. Now, cortisol is actually needed for the body, am I right?
Yes.
But then why is it causing a negative impact on the skin? I wonder. Now, cortisol levels, when they increase beyond a particular point, it actually reduces the skin elasticity. Collagen.
Yeah.
That is also going to get reduced. Now, there is also a protective layer on your skin, which is called the skin barrier. That also reduces. There is more scope for inflammations. When cortisol goes beyond a particular proportion, that's when these changes start to happen. We all have our favorite foods, correct? If we are going to have a favorite food out of proportion, is that going to help the body? No. Likewise, when it comes to cortisol, if there is one beyond a particular level, then it's going to damage the body in these ways. You talked about wrinkles. Cortisol is also responsible for skin aging. So it does impact by producing wrinkles. That is how it affects. That's the first one. Then, whenever there is any shocker in your life, there is this fight or flight response. Your adrenal glands are actually producing this cortisol. You all are aware of that. We also have epinephrine and norepinephrine. Because of epinephrine, there is excessive blood flow. Like, for example, you have to stand up on the stage and give a public speech. Oh my God, it is so difficult for some of us. At that stage, what happens is there is excessive blood flow to your skin. So temporarily, there is a pale appearance because of that excessive blood flow due to epinephrine. Now, there is also norepinephrine, which we are talking about. Some people have sweaty hands. I was talking about public speech. So at that stage, sometimes they feel like they're sweating a lot. So they keep using their handkerchief to wipe out. And when you shake hands with them also, you can see that their skin is very clammy. So clammy skin and pale appearance are the after effects of these hormones. There's one more, which is the corticotropic releasing hormone. This leads to oily skin. This is related to cortisol as well, which increases the sebum production. So sebum production is because of the sebaceous gland, and it leads to increase in the oiliness. This oiliness is going to increase your skin issues. It is going to attract a host of other skin problems, which we will be discussing.
So, Kritika, I would like to ask you next, which skin problems are affected by our mind and how does it manifest?
I am so intrigued by this, because what everybody underestimates is that the mind has so much profound effect on the skin which is so rarely studied as well. For example, some people have itchy skin. It may lead to eczema also if it is blown out of proportion, but they do not understand that why is this happening. I talked about reduced skin barrier sometime back. Now this reduced skin barrier can lead to eczema. So stress is causing this and that is leading to eczema. Psoriasis, you mentioned autoimmune. So over here, the immune system, psychoneuroimmunology theory, talked about how the immune system is attacked. Now, if the immune system is not functioning at par, you know very well that there are dead skins which keep getting accumulated in psoriasis. And that's what leads to psoriasis. There's another thing called the rosacea. That is this new term that has come up, which especially is related to epinephrine because there is excessive blood flow in that, and then that causes a lot of redness all over. So these are the 2-3 examples which I can give, but I would like to highlight one major thing in students. I gave the example of examinations. Just before examinations, you see the eruptions of these pimples and acne. Again, it's related to the oil production. And oil production always increases during stress. So, acne may be directly related to increased level of stress. Inflammation on the skin also can be observed during your examinations. Suddenly, these teenagers have so many boils and pimples that they don't understand what to do. But either it could be that they are waking up late in the night and they are stressed, studying because they need to clear the examinations. There's so much pressure. So these are the various disorders that we can discuss when it comes to stress.
So, Kritika, as a psychologist, what are the holistic approaches that we can adopt to improve our mental health and skin health?
This is one of the most important things I think when it comes to skin health. I did talk about the effect of mind on skin and skin on mind. So I'll discuss both. Beginning with skin on mind first. We all feel that if we do not have a skincare routine, it's okay. Nothing is going to happen to me. We have that kind of attitude. But to be honest, your skin also has a life. You need to take care of it. You need to nurture it like a plant. And what I believe is when you have a good skincare routine, you're actually taking care of yourself and loving yourself. When it comes to disorders such as depression, you need to understand that it's very difficult for those people to look after themselves. I've seen so many clients who are anxious, who are depressed, who are trying to face various problems in life. And it's so sad to see that they stop doing their skincare routine. So you give them a list of herbs, they will not follow it. You give them ready-made Ayurvedic products, they will not follow it. They need to understand that if you're not going to take care of your health, nobody else is going to do that for you. And if your skin is damaged, it's going to affect your mind because it's a vicious cycle. I'm depressed. I'm not taking care of my skin. I've been called outside, but I don't feel like going. I'm again more depressed that why is my skin so bad? And then again, I feel that this cycle goes on continuing, which is very detrimental for everyone. So I urge everyone to look after your skin because that's one of the best and the most important things you can do when it comes to self-care. Now talking about the effect that the mind has on the skin and what we can do in order to reduce the after effects of stress. Like I said, having a proper routine. Let's assume that there is a mindfulness meditation that all of us, religiously practice every day. I know it's very difficult, I admit, but once you do that, you are actually relaxing yourself. There is excessive activation of the sympathetic nervous system when it comes to stress. And when you're doing meditation, you're actually reducing the effects of the sympathetic nervous system. So here, you are calming yourself down and slowly your body comes to align with your mental peace. And that is going to surely affect your stress levels and in turn, your skin health in the long run. And that's one of the most important piece of suggestion or advice that I would like to give everyone. Secondly, you mentioned about certain herbs, diet, sleep, exercise. I feel that an important combination of diet, sleep, and exercise is needed in order to get out of this stress routine. We become so accustomed to this that we have made it a part of our life. Let's not do that. Let's keep it away and let's learn how to cope with it. And that's when the stress levels will reduce and your skin will start to improve. They say drinking water at least 4 liters a day is necessary. Do people do that? Maybe not, but we should start doing it. So these are certain tips that can be utilized in our daily routine in order to reduce stress. Thank you so much, Dr. Smita and Dr. Aishwarya, for being here.
Thank you so much, Kritika.
Thank you so much, Kritika, for this enlightening session in the relation of mind and skin.
So, folks, remember, healthy skin is a reflection of your overall well being. By nourishing your body from within, protecting yourself from harmful environmental factors, and maintaining a consistent skincare routine, you're not just investing in your appearance, you're promoting your health and confidence. Thank you for joining us on this journey to radiant skin. Until next time, keep glowing.